Good evening. I bet you all thought I was gonna ghost, didn't you? Didn't you? Thought I was gonna ghost, didn't you? No, no, no. I fell asleep once. Maybe twice. But I'm still here. I'm still here. So today we're gonna get a little deeper, right? We're gonna get a little deeper because we keep on talking about, oh, it's just magical internet lines, bro. Just magical internet lines. We're gonna discuss why this stuff works. I'm going to give you guys some edge. Okay. I'm going to give you an edge in these markets. It's crazy. It's crazy amount of edge I'm about to give you guys, but we're about to do it. It's going to happen tonight. We're going to talk about quite a few different things. We're going to go everywhere from PE ratios down to settings within TradingView that can legitimately give you a real edge. And I think these things will help a lot of people. And that's why we're going to talk about them tonight, right? Normally we just come in, we talk about price action. We already hit our targets. I mean, we already hit our targets. Don't forget. Like I think a lot of people, they tend to forget, that we talked about these things. We talked about these things right here. What was it? It was roughly all these numbers I'm showing right here on the stream. Was gonna go to sleep. Oh yeah. It ain't over yet. It ain't over till it's over. I told you all I'd be on tonight. All right, told you all. Look. I'm not that person. Telling you let's go out on a date and then ghosting you. It's not happening. There will be times I'll fall asleep. I do a lot throughout the day. I'm not just sitting here just like pondering, twiddling my fingers like a lot of people on the internet. I do a lot of things throughout the day. Some of you may not know this, but I do a 9 to 5. I do. I work at a pretty nice company. Benny's the whole 401k. And I also am doing this, right? So, don't say it's not possible. Don't say you can't do it. Don't say you're too busy. Like, no, that's just excuses. That's all it is at the end of the day. Hey, Bible was where it was at, man. I did tell you all, right? I even like, hey, if you're a sub on Twitter, don't try and say I didn't give you a play. All the calls I gave to you all popped, every one of them, and will likely continue to. Again, it is what it is. It is what it is. So the numbers we gave were what? They were these numbers right here. Look at that. $2,500 ETH. We discussed that in the past 2 to 3 weeks. Have we gone below that price range? No. What was the other one? BTC, 95K. Did we go below that price range? Yes. But I did give kind of a nuanced conversation around potentially 90K too, right? It's anywhere from 95 to 90. It's fine. It's fine because today we're at 98, 98.6, right? We're just continuing to kind of play that sideways range, and we'll see how the market pans out from there. What was the number I gave you on Solana? It was 160. It was 160. Go back to the videos. Look, it was 160. Nailed it. Now we'll see if we hold, right? We'll see if it comes to fruition or I end up being a LARP. That's kind of the question that we'll all have to find out in the end. But levels are not as difficult as people think they are. But hey, listen to whoever you want. I was thinking about Marty today. Oh, for sure, man. Like, hey, anytime I have Marty's number. I've invited Marty on the show. If Marty wants to show up, Marty is more than welcome to come in and chat or whatever. Marty, Johnny, Aaron, any of the boys, any of them are all welcome. Anybody, if you're already part of, my StreamYard connection, you're welcome. Anytime you want to hop in, you can pop in the middle of a stream. It don't matter. I have no problem with it. If you need a link and you're one of the dudes and or one of the dudettes, and you want to link it, hit me up. Right? You already know. I'm more than willing to pull anybody on, talk to them, chat it up, all that good stuff. Engineering Greek candles. Exactly. Market's looking pretty good today. I will say that 98.3. I think we topped around 98.6 maybe, or maybe I'm LARPing. Yeah, I think 98.3 was the high sesh here. I do like that. Hey, boom, boom. I mean, look, it never repeats, but it rhymes, right? It rhymes. What do we get? Tap, 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 tap. The low is set in my eyes, right? Could we dip below? Sure, sure. We'll see. We'll see. But in my eyes, I think you've gotten your low. A lot of people are going to sit here, watch this thing, and sit here and struggle, and they're like, nah, it's going to break, and they're going to be looking for this when likely they'll get a reversal in their face. Be cautious. Be very cautious with shorting right now. Be very, very cautious with shorting. I think if you're trying to short right now, you're asking for pain. Time to short was near all-time highs, right? That was your time to short if you wanted to take those type of positions. But outside of that, I wouldn't be doing it here. So we did discuss an edge, right? I did say that at the beginning. I said I would give you all an edge. Okay. So if you're using TradingView, I don't know. I will say this. I don't know if these features are available to free versions. They might be. I'm pretty sure they are. If not, correct me and let me know, and I'll try and figure out a way, maybe sign out or whatever, to give you this in free versions. But it's a few different things that maybe not a lot of people noticed, right? When they're looking at the TradingView panels, they're typically looking at everything above here, and they're not actually looking and seeing what they have down here, right? So these are some edges, and these are not, they're not indicators per se, right? This is just raw data that you can basically apply and get for, to help you out with your quest. These are different trading panels, brokers, all that stuff like that. Replay trading, this is where you can test them out, test your strategies. Pine editor, which is where you can basically come in and write code, so on and so forth, and all that good stuff. And then you have stock screener. Now, stock screener is really good because it can give you an edge depending on what market you're going for. So if you're going for crypto, it can give you crypto, right? If you're going for stocks, it can give you stocks. And it can tell you right here based off of what? Moving averages, SMAs, all that good stuff. The things that people like to throw up on the screen and say, oh, my SMA says this and the potential bouts of blah, 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 blah. I've actually found that this is a better way to read SMAs than what's actually on the chart. Bet you didn't know that, right? Bet you didn't know that one. A lot of people don't know this one. And so if you look at it, it actually gives you, based on the current moving averages, it'll tell you, is it a strong buy or a strong sell, right? And we're looking here at perps, and it's saying strong buy, strong buy, strong buy, right? And it's saying on your overall, right? So it's saying your 20-day and your 200-day are both bullish. It's saying your 50-day has been bearish. That's the only thing that's bearish. So we went from bullish to bearish to bullish. And what it's telling you, short time frame, 20 weeks, whatever, because right now we're on the weekly. 20 weeks is roughly, very bullish. 200 is bullish, and then your 50 has been bearish. This gives you a good kind of spread on what you're looking for. And you can run through and you can actually find other cryptos too, right? Based on what? Based on what basically the market is overall seeing. So we could set this up to where it's strong buy across the board, and it'll tell you all the strong buy coins. So you got RWA USDT. I didn't even know this was a thing. Real estate, MGC, Litecoin, strong buy, so on and so forth. And it's basing these off of, these are actually shorter time frames right here. So just a little thought process. If you need or are looking for an edge, this can essentially give you an edge if you're unsure with what you're seeing on the chart. You can come in here, you can type in any ticker, and you can see right here it has all the tickers. What else does this work for? Well, it also works for stock picks, right? So you can switch it over to stocks, and you can say, okay, what are my stock picks performance-wise? You can go off of performance. You can go off of overview, right? And it'll tell you kind of the technical rating. Buy. See, it's saying buy an Apple, buy an NVIDIA. It's saying to sell Microsoft, sell Amazon, sell Google, and then neutral on Meta, which means Meta could flip either way. And it's telling you sell Tesla. I'm not saying to trade off of this specifically. I'm just telling you that you can use this, right, as an edge to add to your inventory of things that you're already utilizing on a daily basis outside of the technicals that you're seeing. It's like a second opinion that's based on data, not other people on Twitter's opinions, right? There's a lot of people on Twitter that have a lot of opinions, but they say things and they have no data to back what they're saying. They just say, oh, well, there's a lot of sellers. Oh, well, the KOLs. Oh, well, this, well, that. None of that shit is relevant. None of it's all for the birds. Show me the data. Show me the data back in what you're saying. It could be SMAs, it could be volume, and you can see right here, like they're showing you also kind of the relative volume, volume price, market cap of each one of these, right? And so you can really get a good edge in here, and you could come down and you could find smaller market cap stocks, right? So if you're not as familiar with the stock market, this can give you an edge on the stock market specifically. And if you don't see something here that you want, or say you see something somewhere, you're like, okay, I like this company. Let me look at this company. All right, Lucid, and look what it does, by the way, too. Also switches my chart. So just like I've been talking about, Lucid in these ranges is likely a buy, right? What do the technicals say at the same time? Technical rating is what? It's a buy. It's a buy. Now, I don't typically use this, but I want you to have something that you can utilize if you're second guessing yourself, right? That's all I'm giving it to you for. I'm giving you the juice, the sauce, so you can basically not second guess yourself as much. It gives you an edge. That's the point. It's always about the edge. So with that being said, this can really help you get a good visual on the market. Let's go with Rivian, for instance. What does it say for Rivian? This is a buy. And if you look at the market cap on these, this is only a $13 billion company. When you put it against something like Tesla, which honestly is a very similar type setup, what are we looking at here with Tesla? 1.14 trillion. So if we look at Rivian and we're like, okay, let's say Rivian captures 40% market share against Tesla. I don't think it'll be that high. It'd probably be more like 20 to 30. But, realistically, if we got the 300 billion, right, or 200 billion, you got a solid 20-30x play there on a stock. Think about that. That's a solid play. You come over to something like Lucid, more luxury, and always undervalue luxury over things that have less luxury, right? So luxury plays are good, like Porsche and like Ferrari and Lamborghini and all this stuff like that. But like when they become stock companies, even though they're luxury, how many people can afford luxury, right? Not a lot of people. It's always better to go mass production plays. Rivian's more like mass production, right? Lucid is more luxury, but I do think based on market cap of Lucid, it's got a lot of potential. It's got a lot of potential. And you can see right here, it's been struggling, but it's still been in that buy range. It's still really heavily buy. What's another edge that we can use outside of this, right? What's some more technicals that we could look at? Well, a lot of you may not have noticed this, but you have this list here, right? Well, right below this list, if you pull it up, you can basically look at earnings reports, when the next one is, right? You can also look at basically price performance right through here, right? And what do we notice about Lucid? Lucid is not a dividend stock, right? It's just a regular stock. This is a growth stock. So if you're questioning whether a stock is a dividend stock or not, you can actually find that data right in here, right in this tab. What else do we notice? There's an actual meter on here that tells you buy or sell based on what it's seeing, right? It also tells you how analysts are viewing it. And there's a lot of analysts who are right now on one side of the fence and other ones that are on the other. So it's a neutral stock. That means some people are bullish, some people are bearish, and it's a very even spread between the two, right? So that's what you're gathering from this. I'm kind of explaining it to you so you understand what you're looking at with this data. And then obviously you can go more technicals here, right? And it'll give you a bigger breakdown. It'll give you exponential moving average, simple moving average, exponential moving average 20, simple moving average 20. And you can see here what? How many cells do we have there? Yes, this is all in TradingView. Everything is here in TradingView. Exactly. That's what I'm trying to tell you why traders use TradingView, right? A lot of people think it's just charts and lines and all that. There's a lot of data here. There's a lot of data that you can use, you as an individual can use to get better at this trading thing, right? Things that you can use that to give you an edge. Screw all that. Look, I'm trying to give you a skill set. I'm trying to teach you to fish. I'm not trying to feed you a fish. Feeding you a fish is meme coins. That's me feeding you fish, right? And sometimes we hit, sometimes we don't together. But this is teaching you the more longer term game. That's what we're discussing here. We're discussing the long game. A lot of people are in here really short gaming it, and maybe they wanted the long game but didn't realize that that's probably the better way to go after they lost a lot of money, right? Sometimes it takes losing quite a bit of money to understand that, hey, maybe I need to slow down a little bit. Maybe I need to kind of take this with a better approach and not try and just be full on, losing my mind, throwing hundreds of thousands of dollars in the memes and hoping I hit one day. Yeah, and they post news on the companies here also. Yes, exactly. So you can get all the data. Like if a company's got a earnings or anything else coming up, you can get all that data here. So as you can see right here, this is obviously the 1 day. You can do the weekly, you can do the monthly, and it'll change the indication all depending on what time frame you're looking at. So 1 week, we've been bullish, right? Buy signals, buy, but we can see we're starting to settle in some sells. And then on the monthly, we've been kind of bearish, right? And that was more towards the beginning of the month. Why do I know that? Because if we look here, we've had a lot of buy side signal. And how should we view things when we're looking at them, right? Any type of trading item, we should be looking at them from a top-down approach. So you break down your monthly. This is probably more towards the beginning of the month up to now. And then you break down your weekly and you see you're starting to get buy signal, right? That means as you come down in time, you're actually getting more and more bullish. And then you break down your daily and it gets even more bullish over here, right? On these moving averages. On your summary, it's still about the same. So you went from bearish overall time frame, right, to bullish shorter time frame, to more bullish, more immediate time frame. And then you can even break it down to H4s, 2 hours, 1 hours. And this can give you really kind of a trading edge, right? And we can see right there, 15-minute we're strong buy. But this is the 15-minute don't even matter. Don't even worry about that shit. But I would say stay more around like your 4, your 1 day, your weekly, and your monthly. And even if your monthly looks bad and you're starting to gauge down and you're getting stronger and stronger buys, think about it as like time is moving forward. So you're more bullish as you dial this way as opposed to dialing this way, right? Now, if you get a bull signal here, then ultimately that's even better. But if you don't, what it means is like that red month is about to be pushed out. And as long as these continue to stay green, then this right here will turn into a buy signal too in like another coming week or two or so on and so forth, if that makes sense. So this is a good edge that can really kind of help you get a better understanding of what you're looking at. There's a lot of data here that you guys can utilize on a daily basis that really help you out. Now, let me show you something else, right? So we'll close that. We'll drop this down, right? Something else you may or may not have known exists within TradingView. And I'm pretty sure these are all part of the free features too. So you have settings. A lot of people haven't really looked at events. What do you think ideally events is? What do you think it covers specifically? It covers real events, FOMC, stock earnings, splits, reverse splits, everything. It covers everything around that stock and things that affect the overall market. So you could turn this on right here and you could say like earning breaks, for instance, right? And it'll tell you right in here, earnings and revenue, earnings and revenue, earnings and revenue, earnings and revenue. Now, when you see a green earnings and revenue, what does that tell you? That tells you that things were positive. So that was a good month, week, whatever you're looking at, right? So from the red to the green, you had a positive price action, right? Positive money flow on the stock, aka from here to here. You had positive again from here to here. Then you had negative earnings from here to here, and you had negative earnings from here to here. Now, how can you edge this? Well, you can start to see when you start to get a pattern of positive, 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 you will likely start to see price do what with the positive, 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 positive. It'll likely start moving with that, right? Price action will start moving with that positive price action. So you can utilize this in a way that can kind of signal to you that we're going to start really moving on the stock or crypto. You know, if some cryptos do have events too, like Bitcoin has halvings and everything else. I'll show you that in a little bit. The one crazy, and you can see right here, this one's orange, right? Or purple, sorry, orange. I say orange. This one right here is purple. Why is it purple? Because it hasn't occurred yet, but will occur when? It'll occur here on the 25th. So that's your date that the next earnings revenue will occur. So what will they do on that date? They're going to announce their earnings. And if their earnings are positive, what do you think will likely happen to the stock? Well, it will likely reflect in a positive way, and price action will likely continue to the upside. Does it always occur like that? No. But I'm giving you an edge, right? I'm telling you how to think about this. And we can see here, we're going from red to green to red to green to red to green to red, and hopefully to green again. And what that's telling you, or what it should be telling you in your head overall, when you're thinking about this, it's not just straight red. It's a rotation between the two. So what that tells me is, even though price has been in this downtrend, it's likely we're going to start bottoming at some point, and you're going to have an equal amount of selling to buying pressure, right? And once you start getting that equal amount of selling to buying pressure, you might go green, 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 and then one red, and then green, 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 and then one red. And as that starts to occur, you could start curving out of this low, right? Right here, we can see what? We can see negative earnings still spiked into negative earnings, which caused the dump into what? What will likely be, in my opinion, positive earnings. Based on what? Based on the data that's basically readily available on Yahoo Finance. So we'll get to that portion too. I think that's important also. But first, I wanted to get into Bitcoin and show you kind of how that works. Well, also, again, ideas. Have you guys ever seen this? Has anybody ever seen this portion right here? Ideas. Do you know what ideas does? Anybody who publishes ideas will basically be on this, right? And what we'll notice is some people publish ideas right at the right time, and they can be positive or they can be negative, right, on the overall price action. So some people are seeing something and others are seeing another. And we can see here right after this idea, what did price do? It bounced hard. This was a sell idea, right? Lucid short. And boom, hit its price range on the money. So this can give you other traders' perspectives on the stock that you're looking at, not people on freaking Twitter. I'm not hating on Twitter. I'm so sick of the emotion on there, man. It's crazy. Like, why would I take their perspective and their opinion when there's people that are real traders in the stock market that have a real edge? That if I'm really questioning myself, I could really just kind of come in and look at one of their publishes. And some of these people on here, they're, like this guy's a premium member like me. Like these guys are pretty good at understanding market direction. Again, I agree with this thesis that he's basically putting out here. I think this is a really good thesis of falling price action within a wedge. And like you can see right here, he nailed it. Look at this. Nice breakout into a nice breakdown into what will likely be another breakout. And this is a better edge for, and I'm giving this to my audience, because I want you to succeed. This is a better edge than using people on Twitter. Flat out. And if you want to take your investing seriously, you got to get out of that game. You got to get out of the game. You got to get into this game. That's what you have to get into. Because if you're not taking it seriously, you're just gambling. And some people will be like, oh, you're gambling. It's cool. I mean, it's fun. I wouldn't say it's cool, but I'd say it's fun. I gamble sometimes in different plays and stuff like that, but I'm not going to throw my whole stack at that stuff. I'm definitely trying to preserve wealth, not lose it. And I would tell others to ideally look to be doing something similar. So with that being said, again, price action looks good. I have ideas on the chart from what he's showing me. I can see all my earnings and everything like that that's going on here. And we can see here with the earnings, you can also see volume, right? How did volume react to earnings? So you had negative earnings here. You had this big sell-off, and then you had this big breakout right here into positive earnings, and then positive earnings dumped more, right? And why did you get this big breakout? Let me make you guys think a little bit. Why do you think you got this big breakout right before a positive earning? Because somebody knew there was a positive earning coming. So somebody put in a lot of money and pumped the market only to dump it again later, right? This is market manipulation at its finest. Happens even in stocks, even though people think it only happens in crypto. That's why you're getting this ripper right after this big dump on negative earnings into positive earnings. And then you're getting downside, right? And then you get positive earnings, you get a bounce. And then into positive earnings again, you get a front run, right? And except you're not getting things like this anymore, right? You're only able to push price up barely. And what that's telling you is that this market is starting to run out of sellers, right? So it's starting to run out of sellers. So when it starts to run out of sellers, likely what happens after your big drop is you start playing to the side, and then eventually you start breaking against that price action. Because once you have no more sellers who think it's worth selling this stock below this range, there's no more downside. That's how it works. What do I mean by there's no more downside? It doesn't mean Lucy can't come back down and revisit 199. It can. But you're not going much deeper than where we've already been. So even though this is the range ideally that I should be looking at, I'm looking to basically take Lucid from this range to this range as a buy side play, right? Anywhere's in here. It could be up here, it could be down here, it could be up there, it could be down here. But this is a buy range. Why? Because we're looking for this price action to end up somewhere at least rebalancing to here. Did price ever rebalance this breakout? Absolutely not. It didn't. It didn't. So where do you think this ends up eventually once price starts breaking out? It's going to end up at least breaking out to here. That's a 450% move on a stock. Think about it. Most of you are barely getting 35, 45% on these meme coins. A lot of them are down, though. I will say that. I'm not going to shit on meme coins, though, because I think there's a lot of opportunity right now in the market. So the volume is basically your stop out, right? So this is what we talked about before, or we have talked about in the past. This vol is usually indicative of heavy buy volume at the lows, right? And you can see that also in the green side here. So there's a lot of buy volume in here. Likely this stock has already bottomed. It's already done. There's no more real downside for the stock. And so you're in that range to where you're gonna just chop for a bit, and then you're gonna break out. Now, if this earnings ends up being positive, right, which is likely why we're breaking to this direction, you could still continue up a little bit if you want to, but I would expect a pullback. Right, your sellers that have basically manipulated price up to this point, and then after that pullback, you take your entry. And if we get positive after that, you're only going to go higher. What's up, Kelly? So ultimately, take it with a grain of salt, right? Take it with a grain of salt. Another one here is Bitcoin. Same thing. If we want to look at oscillators, right? Pull this up, look and see where this is at. We can see right here, they're saying it's a sell at the moment. More technicals. That's on the daily. Buy, strong buy, buy. Weekly. Oscillator over here is your oscillator say sell. Your summary says buy. Your moving averages say buy, right? So this is based off of what? They give you all the oscillators that they're using right here, right? And then they give you all the MACDs, or not MACDs, MAs, moving averages that they're using over here. And then they combine these two. They combine your oscillator and they combine your moving average, and they come up with a conclusion, right? And your conclusion right now is to buy on the weekly. Your conclusion on the monthly is to buy. Your conclusion on the daily even is to buy, right? Price is starting to turn around even for your oscillators on the daily. So this gives you an edge on Bitcoin specifically. So even though you're seeing this right here, it's not indicative of what the oscillators are actually telling you. Now, if we go to seasonal, right, we can basically look at price growth right over here based on seasons. And this can kind of give you an edge based on the seasons and what they did each year. So you got 2020 right here, which is where the market started breaking out. And you got 2023, 2024, and then 2021, you're kind of on this downtrend, right? You've been on this downtrend for a while. So this gives you, again, just more edge that you can utilize moving forwards. But again, just like what we did with the news, with the stocks, we can do the same thing here with Bitcoin, with events, right? And we can see right here, because I have events on, the next dated event for Bitcoin is right here. What is that event that is coming up? It's existing home sales. Now, I don't know why home sales is on the Bitcoin chart, but apparently it's a big impact to Bitcoin potentially, right? And so it is something to keep an eye on, apparently, because you got forecasted, right? And what you might want to look at to this is see, what home sales are looking like, because your forecast here is 413, your previous was 424, which means you came down, and then your actual and again, forecast and previous is right there. And so if this ends up being a factor on Bitcoin, I don't know why it would. It's so freaking weird that they put this on here as an event. Then at that point, if you end up with negative housing forecasts, that might be good or bad, right? Might be good or bad. I think with housing forecasts, it's kind of a toss-up because it depends on how the market views it. If it says, okay, nobody can afford housing, and so nobody can buy housing to invest, and that's positive for Bitcoin price, and Bitcoin price will go up. If they say, oh, Bitcoin or housing prices are coming down, and that means the market might crash, then that might be negative for Bitcoin price. So there's different ways of viewing that, both pros and cons. Fact of the day, Bitcoin is trading at 96,183, and that was right here. And it'll tell you right here, 1.3% in 24 hours. It has fluctuated between 93 and 98 with potential targets of what? 101,000 and 76,000 as your retrace. Who told you 70K? Who told you 70K? I didn't make this. This is just something that's there. And if you want to look at these different posts and ideas that people come up with, again, you can come through and you can look at, different people's thought processes. So MetaPlanet right here expands Bitcoin holdings to 2,100 Bitcoin with 6.6 million acquisition February 20th, 2025. So even though a lot of you are looking for bearish theses, like you'll likely find a lot of bullish ones, right? Calls for Bitcoin Jesus Roger to be freed next. Bitcoin Jesus, interesting. Strategy, Michael Saylor says the US should aim to hold 20% of Bitcoin. So this is like all your Bitcoin news, real news, all lumped up right here on TradingView. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that I don't have to go to Twitter to find out what is actually being said about Bitcoin? Interesting. Very, very interesting. Now let's kind of do the same thing here with ETH, right? We can basically do the same thing here. Illuvium CEO says firm has gone super lean to speed up development, blockchain game development, Illuvium, blah, 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 right? AKA on ETH. Ethereum price consolidation in progress, uptrend resuming soon, February 20th. And you can read the articles. I'm trying to show you what you are not utilizing and you're paying for within TradingView, right? These are all tools that you can utilize within TradingView. What is another edge that you can use when it comes to stocks? You can basically go over to Google Finance. A lot of you may not know this, but this is a thing, right? Now I'm going to give you kind of a way to get an edge on stocks, specifically with Google Finance. So we've got NVIDIA right here, right? The big hoss, the one that's been kind of running the market on the stock market. Well, little did you know is you can come right down here and you can look at their financials. You can look at, so again, this is Google Finance, and you would just put the name right in this bar, or you can click one of the ones up here, right? And what you'll notice here is with their financials, you can see their revenue, their operating expenses, their net income, and these are all things you want green. Net profit margin, earnings per share, and then you got your EBITDA, and then you got effective tax rate, right? Cash and short-term investments. This is just, what they have, cash on hand and investments, so things that they can liquidate. Total assets, 96 billion in total assets. Total liabilities, 30 billion. So this right here affects PE specifically, because what does that mean? That means that you have a total assets of 96, you have liabilities of 30. So that basically means that you have 66 billion in available cash flow. Total equity right here, 6590, right? Which is roughly about what I gave you. But yeah. So they already have it right here. So this is 6590 billion. So they actually break it down for you. You don't have to do the math yourself. Shares outstanding, 24.49 billion. Price on books, 51.76. Return on assets, 60.33%. Return on capital, 75.78%. This is just what they're earning on the things that they have, right? Whether it be assets or capital. Net income is 19.31 billion. Cash from operations is 17.63 billion. And cash from investing is negative, right? They're not doing very good on investing. Negative 4.35 billion. Cash from financing, 12.75 billion. Net change in cash, 536 million, and then free cash flow. Now, how can I use this, Will? Because nobody wants to buy NVIDIA because it's way too expensive. How can I use this to get into something else? Lower cap. Well, what you could do is you could take a stock like NVIDIA and you could compare it to a stock like Lucid or Rivian or any other small cap to mid cap stock, and basically utilize it in a way that can give you a better edge on like what you should be looking for and what you're actually seeing. And if you're seeing similar numbers, then you're okay. So again, revenue positive 45%. They're up on revenue in September of 2024. June, what were they in June? Positive. They were up big in June, doing very well. September, obviously there's going to be some downside because it's more towards the end of the year. Net income was negative 57.31. What was the net income of NVIDIA over here? It was positive 19.31 billion, right? Now, the part that I'm more interested in is this part. That's always the part I'm more interested in. I want to know their liabilities to their cash flow, right? Their total assets. So what I want to do is I want to look at their assets. They're at 8.49 billion and total liabilities is at 4.75 billion, which means they're positive 3.74 billion. This is not an underwater company. It's not upside down. It's perfectly fine. So even though their cash and short-term investments and total assets are down, which means they probably liquidated some. In these cases, right here, this doesn't affect me as much as what I care about, which is this, right? Total equity. This is what is important to me. And then from there, you can see their net income is down 57%, but their cash from operations is up 10%. Their cash from investing is up 125%. Whereas if you look at something like NVIDIA, what's their cash from investing? Down 37%. And then you come over and you look at their cash from financing, they're up 1,949% on finance cash. On finance cash. What is NVIDIA up on their cash from financing? They're down 181%. Down 181%. And then you've got basically net change in cash, 133, and free cash flow is up 15.93%. Negative, but up either way. Right here, positive cash flow, right? Positive cash flow. So that's the difference between the two. All right. So with all that being said, these items that I just gave you this evening should give you a much better edge than what you had. And hopefully you can utilize these moving forward, and it can help you get a better edge on the market and on other people rather than relying specifically on Twitter to get your news and info. Currently, though, we'll run through one of your core holdings. Nice. Yeah. If you got an NVIDIA early, no point in selling it now. No point in selling it now. You might as well just hold that. You got a gym. You got a gym, just like Tesla and a lot of other ones. And I think there'll be other ones too. I really do. I think Rivian has really good potential. I'm not gonna lie, like I was originally more bullish on Lucid than I was Rivian until I looked into Rivian's overall. I mean, they have this big contract with Amazon, which gives them a really big commercial side. And then they have other contracts that I think they're currently working on. And then they have a big, basically retail market. And they're looking at more commercial, potentially government contracts too. So overall, their sales side should be booming if they can get all these contracts in a row, get all their ducks in a row. So for me, I think that Rivian is more bullish than Lucid in that front. But Lucid is bullish on the front of just, a luxury car, right? And I think like if you look at Lucid and who's backing them, again, the Saudis, I think that always gives you positive momentum with a lot of these stocks. And no matter how much Lucid has been getting pounded, they just continue to invest in this company. I think there's just a lot of expectations, and I think they're going to get it there. I mean, they have more money than most of you could even dream of. I mean, the Saudis are basically infinite money factories. So for me, I look at it as a positive thing when it comes to Lucid specifically. So I'm bullish on that too, based on that specifically. I haven't really looked at markets as much. I did see that PLTR pulled back a bit, and the likeliness is that this thing might go down for a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, this thing has been on a freaking tear, right? Thoughts on Palantir? Maybe like right there as your first level. I think that's an important range of liquidity. And if we were to take the indicator route, I would ideally think that it would be on my side on this, but could be wrong. We're kind of wavering from that buy a little bit. Looks like they're kind of fluctuating. Neutral is kind of pushing a little bit to the left. It's not there yet, but definitely could get there. So just be cautious on this one. Earnings is coming up in basically, what is that, May 12th? Yep, May 12th, you get earnings. So what you'll likely, and look at this, man. Oh, man. Look, I don't make the rules. I just follow them. All right. I just follow them. But if you end up doing this in the earnings, likely you already know what's going to happen. Right. You already know what's going to happen off of that. We don't even have to talk about it. Again, pullbacks and earnings are usually very bullish. I like pullbacks and earnings. At least on a stock that's been on a tear like Palantir, not on a downtrending stock, right? Not on a downtrending stock, but a stock that's been on a tear. You get pullbacks and earnings. It's profit takings and the rippers. Bitcoin, we already look, price looks fine. We ain't gotta talk about it. Lows are set, is what it is. You don't like it, I can't help you. It is what it is. Small pullback on SPX, 6,100. I don't know where this thing stops. We're already far beyond fibs and everything else. What I will say, let's say there's a market top incoming, maybe 6,400. Maybe. I think it's closer to 7 or 8 now. I really think this thing can keep going. We're just too far ahead on that one. ADA, I think ADA looks really good here. One thing I would like to see, and I think that this is really good for price action. A lot of these things are bouncing back pretty nicely. Get above this range right here. Get above 80 cents. Maybe swing up to like 85. But again, we're still kind of in this downtrend until we're not. So we'll see if we can flip that range. If we can flip that range, we can come back and visit that as entertain it as a buy range. I think maybe like a lift into a dip into a run, something like that with Tesla. That's my thoughts on that one at the moment. So I think there's going to be a fake out into a fake out and a reversal. Baba, all right, we talked about that. Absolutely tore. This one's doing really good. Really, really good. Very happy with Baba. We talked about Coinbase. It's either going to stop here on trend 230 or it's going to run all the way to 156. One of those two. ETH is looking phenomenal. Pulled right back above trend. Looks positive for price action and they can keep pushing this up. Workhorse continuing to consolidate the low. Nothing really to see here other than, just going to continue to consolidate. I do think RSI is very oversold. Stochastic very oversold. The thing with Workhorse that really killed it was this negative over negative over negative over negative over negative, just earnings after earnings after earnings. But what are we starting to see here with Workhorse? Green earnings, red earnings, red earnings, red earnings, green earnings, red earnings, and we're starting to see a big buy up here, right? And if the next earnings ends up being positive, you'll probably see a big swing here. So it's something to keep an eye on. Maybe punt a couple call options, in my opinion. I think you can easily swing for 100% move, if not more, if you end up with positive earnings. This one's kind of struggling. Came back, retested exactly on the money of the range, 247. Not too much to see there at the moment. Big bounce after we hit this low. We talked about this with Tia. But the problem is they can continue to swing. They get above the 50, continue to watch it, could become bullish. Telcoin, still doing fine. I think that this buy or this sell wick right here is a little something to keep an eye on. Don't forget that that's there. Could be negative. I think VIX is going to continue to cool down, which should be positive for price action for stocks and crypto. Something to keep an eye on. We can see right here, oil has been nothing but bearish. It's all it's been. Solid downtrend. Did break above it here, but broke back below again. And, if you see oil break down, you'll likely see an asset appreciation breakout because that oil prices get cheaper. Guess what? Prices get cheaper. Good to go. Yeah, Carvana rose for the dead. Yeah, a lot of people didn't see that one coming. Crypto total market cap. Right? What's that mean? What's that mean? This one's pretty interesting, but it is holding the range, looking really good, right above all-time high. Yeah. I think just people are They're beating themselves. They're beating themselves, and being bearish doesn't make sense to me in this type of market. We can see even here, like this looks like it's starting to lose momentum to the downside for total 3, which is your high risk place. Looking pretty good. Nailed our target. Boom, right into the range. And then, expectations are a breakout from here. This looks pretty good. I like this. Bit tensor. Again, resistance, support. Looking pretty good. I do like this. And remember, last time Bit Tensor had a buy up, obviously, it's one of those wakes, right? So you could potentially get some kind of big ripper here on Bit Tensor if they want to run it. So here to here. I mean, that's a pretty good. What are we looking at here? 100% move. 100% move. If you get the same thing as what you got over here. So that's something to keep an eye on. God, look at this. I even had it. Oh, bro, I always miss this shit too. I know we talked about this. Missed it. 143% move. Nice. Oh, well, move on. You miss. Again, tagged right into our range. Render, we already talked about this one. I said you likely tag down here. 1, likely will be 2. We're continuing to hold and support this range, and this will be a breakout from here. This will likely be a breakout from here. Yeah, graph. We're kind of just playing chop it sideways right now. This looks pretty good though. I do like graph. Maybe it does something like this and then a breakout. I don't think it's quite done yet bleeding, but I think its bleeding will be to the upside before a rip. This is looking really good though. You get a bit overwhelmed wanting to choosing for allocating. Top utility plays are at the moment. Top utility plays. I would say stick with your L1s, right? Sui's, all that good stuff. Obviously some ETH, let me a little Solana. Like I do think Solana has bottomed, but I think your upside is also maybe a 2 or 3x from here. I would say Sui is like $7 to like $14, somewhere in there. I would say ETH to maybe like 10 to 14, which is decent actually from where we are right now. And then I think like Algorand and stuff are like obviously sleepers. I mean, I was talking about this stuff right here when the SEC labeled it a freaking security, and you're up right now, 232% still, even with the drawdown. Yeah, somebody asked about Say earlier today too. I think DOT is something worth entertaining too. I think not a lot of people are really gonna look at that one until it actually starts moving. But I really think it's a little sleeper play that a lot of people just start paying attention to. Let me see if I have Say on here. Yes, I do. Yeah, bruh, look at this. Look at this. Can I make it any easier? Yeah, so this is looking good. Yeah, I like it. Boom, boom, boom. With a little resistance. Yeah, I like this range. Yeah, DOT is boring right now until it's not, right? Sharding is always boring until it's not. Sure, we can get it in Monero. Monero, the people's coin. What is the ticker? I know I have Monero on here. I just forget the ticker. XMR, that's what it was. Okay. XMR. Huh. I know I've looked at Monero quite a few times. I don't know why it's not on my list. It's fine. We'll run it. We'll run it. We'll run it. Yeah, we'll run this one. Off market cap. Bro. Monero looks good. I like it. Yeah, this nice big breakout. Bowl. Biggest handle you ever saw. Something like that. That's what it looks like it wants to do. Ideally, watch this range. I think if the market breaks out, Monero breaks out. But again, just you go from a low structure right here. Into a HL, into an HL. I don't know why this thing feels like it's lagging. That's what I think you're kind of looking at here. Generational bottom. We all know that one. Yeah. So again, same thing as what we talked about on Bitcoin. Boom. Monero's bottom's in. Its bottom is in. Literally Pico bottom, Pico volume. Turn for turn. Let's see. Axelar, sure. I think I had that one. Nope, I don't. AXL. And I know I've looked at this one before, but I just probably didn't keep it on my watch. I mean, you bottomed out, but the problem is this looks a little sketch. Not gonna lie, because this could turn into this, and if that turns into that, this thing is gonna continue to do this before you ever see this, right? So, yeah, I'd be a little cautious with this one. Too much rising volume, like no cooldown. You know what I'm saying? So, not saying it looks horrible, but be cautious. The volume, it looks like there's a lot of hype here, right? A lot of hype into drawdown. And some people may say, well, like that's a reversal, bro. Maybe. But I usually like to see death, then some kind of spike on a generational bottom, and then cooldown. And then from there, you see this, and then death, and then breakout later, right? Something like that. My buying list, yeah, we're gonna talk about it. We'll talk about buying list, yeah, hell yeah. Let's get into that. We'll do Crow real quick, and then we'll hop on that. I do like Crow, man. I missed that one. I'm not gonna lie. Like I was so determined to get Crow. I was so determined, and I completely let it fucking slip through my fingers this cycle. Pisses me off. It's one thing that got away. I knew that platform was gonna do well too. Absolutely no. Oh no. This is it, right? Crow USD, Crow coin. Hold on. Let me make sure real quick because I'm a little confused. USDT. Hold on. It's down. Yes. I'm getting some. Absolutely getting some of this. I because it was up here and I was mad. I was so mad. Yeah, it's a good buy here. I like it. I like this one here. Definitely. Yeah, I'm on. Let's run it. All right, so I'm getting some of this. I like Crow, by the way. When the market starts ramping up, you'll see why. They bait the market so hard every time. I gave you guys some of these the other day, right? On my timeline, RGTI. I gave you QUBT and QB2. This one right here. I gave you guys this literally the other day. On Twitter. to my subs, up 35%. Just say. I know it's not much. Don't make fun of me. Okay, don't make fun of me. But it wasn't a bad call. It was not a bad call. It was a good call. You could have done call positions on that too, and it would have done you well. I think this one's a cooker. D-Wave is a cooker. RGTI is I'm buying all this shit. This is all quantum, by the way. All this. I'm buying all this. Everything. I've been dialing into these. So, like, if you guys want like the list, this is the list. Again, AI down, but AI looks damn good. I like the trend. It looks really good. BBAI, Soundhound, and look, I gave this. I told you guys like we were gonna likely come down here. Look where we are now. We are so close to price target. You could technically start buying here because you're gonna likely bottom here. That's gonna be the generational bottom for Soundhound. AI, by the way. Drio, right? It's another one too. Cloudflare, which is one I gave you all. And I think Cloudflare is actually doing okay. This one's doing okay. This is the one I've been kind of keeping an eye on. I want to see if we can rebottom again because I would love to get in at this low or anywhere near it. Maybe where we are now. Actually, it's not too bad. Yeah, I might get some of that now. What was it? Cloudflare. We come over here. We look at this one. This right here is going to be a cooker. This is what I gave to you all. We're basically on the breakout right here, and I was like, we're going to break out. Likely this drawdown will become this breakout, and so far it's cooked right up this breakout. Yeah, lower than when I caught it, yeah, for sure. Or lower when I caught it. So this breakdown should become this breakout on the upside. Was looking for a breakout above. So far, we're doing pretty good. I think we continue a lot higher on this one. So I really think that this one's a good cook. Granted, volume is kind of drawing down. Price is drawing up. We got an inversion going on right now. And we've got strength continuing to rise, right? People aren't selling. Volume is continuing to drop. And then eventually you'll probably get some kind of big rise of buyers, forcing price a lot higher. And then once price goes higher, then you'll get some kind of pullback into that before next breakout. AKA what happened here starts to occur over here. That is my thoughts on that one. Again, list right here, AI focused. I'm going through these. I'm going through quantum. All the meme coins I've mentioned in the past, holding all of them. Printer came out of nowhere today. Absolutely pumped. Makes me wonder if there's something funny kind of going on there. I did get some nice USDT into my wallet for doing that, for holding that and not selling. And I'm going to continue to hold that one and we're going to see how this plays out. I want to see this thing either, 10 to 100x my play, or they're taking me to zero and I might get like $30 in USDT by the time they end up rugging it. It's going to be one of the two. That's a crypto project, by the way. But yeah. I mean, we're at an hour and 3 minutes right now in. I know that's been tough. I know a lot of you are like, you're an a-hole for not showing up every single day. Yeah, I did mess up. But if you guys could do me a huge favor, the same one I ask you for every single time. I know you're tired of hearing it, but I have to ask it because it's the only way I can get exposure on YouTube and on Twitter and all these platforms. If you could if you could comment, and if you're on Twitter, if you could retweet, I would greatly appreciate it. And if you help me out, I'll help you out, just like I did today, which means I'll be here tomorrow. And if you don't help me out, guess what? I might be here, I might not tomorrow. That's how we're gonna play this game moving forward. I'm just joking. I'll definitely try to be here. But yeah, if you guys could help me out with that, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you all for coming through. Will, do you have time, more or less, a timeline, more or less like seasonality? many like TPs on stuff you have for spot. Yeah, so I would say like if you're looking for seasonality, just watch out for summers. That's it. That's all. May is a real, it's a real home wrecker. It's a real home wrecker. Anything after May, sometimes a month before May, but summer's around that time frame. People love to go on vacation, sell shit, and just drop the whole market out from underneath everybody. Come back, bid it all back up, and then you're right back to where you started. If you're not looking at capital gains, if you're not wanting to get not looking at, but if you're not wanting to get hit by capital gains, you just eat the downside potential there. If you've been in for a while, it's not really a lot typically for you specifically. But if you're brand new and you bought right before summer, you can get absolutely shreked if you're buying into upside momentum. If you're buying downside, I don't think there's a lot of shrekking that's going to happen to you. But if you're buying upside, you can definitely get wrecked going into summer. So be careful about that. Let me see. Broccoli always will be blah, blah. Oh, nice shill. Appreciate the shill. But no, we're not buying whatever that is. All right. But I do appreciate you showing up. Yeah, again, if you guys could like, if you're not subscribed, could you subscribe, please? Pretty please. And comment and retweet if you're on Twitter. I would greatly appreciate it. This will be up, so you guys can always come back to it, review it. I really tried to cook on this one. I brought a lot to the table as far as like things any everyday person can use at their 9 to 5, go in, evaluate stuff, and kind of try to give you an edge on the market versus, a lot of the guys, it's going up, watch and see. Guys, it's going down, watch and see. I'm trying to give you an edge, right? And I try not to be that guy that's giving you hope or giving you despair like a lot of people are doing right now. So if you appreciate me like I appreciate all of you, like, comment, retweet. I'll leave it there. All right, hour and 7 minutes in. I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a great evening and good night.